Kev, we lied. We are back in AV Jam just for a little bit. We're gonna. It's the last, we think, AV Jam. You know when we got Tim in, this was the original plan. Then we changed our mind, and now we're back again. Right? We're back with the. We're done with AV Jam, but I always wanted to, if a friend wanted it, to leave it in safe hands, and that's you. If we're leaving it in your very safe hands. It's been 3 years. I'm sure we'll come to this as we talk, but 3 years where the AV Jam style, you needed to just keep cooking up crazy ideas, and we've done it all. In my opinion, we've done everything we can do to still be, without just being another pod.
It's mad. I always think, who knows? For me, right now, it's not that AV Jam has gone. It's not that we're killing it. It's just I'm stepping away. And it literally is that.
If that's going to do, we are killing it.
Yeah, we probably are, actually. She's had it. But it's me stepping away. It's not us saying, see, kill it, but it's moving. And like you said, we always had to think of crazy things to do. Otherwise, we'd have ended up with months and months and months of doing nothing. And
so you might think you might think you're stepping away, but you know I'm going to drag you back in.
I'm happy to.
We've already had that conversation, so you know you're going to get dragged back in.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to get involved in other people's stuff. It was the coming up with the ideas, planning the recording dates, scheduling it, and all that I lost the energy for. If somebody's got a great idea and they want me to bring that same energy to their show, I'm all in.
Well, I'm not going to say the same for me. I'm not going to say the same for me. I know If's already tried to blag me for one, and I'm happy to do that, but for me, I'm not. I'm out completely. I'm done with it all. I don't want none of it. I've deleted apps. I've deleted social. I'm not watching anybody else's anything. I'm done. Leave me alone.
Oh, no, I think you'll change your mind. I think you'll be back in a couple of months.
Well, everything's deleted. Give it till March, April, and if I'm not missing it, I'm going to delete my accounts. I've only deleted the apps at the minute. If I'm not missing it, I'll delete my accounts, but give it a couple of months, I'll see how I'm feeling. If not, I'm gone completely.
So you'll come on other... Sorry, just talking over you. I was going to say, but you'll come on other people's stuff, right? You'll come on... We're definitely having that chat, Kevin.
Look, yours, you've already commandeered me, so it's happening. But yeah, for anybody else, you might have to beg and plead. No one will want me anyway, so I don't care. But yeah, genuinely right now, don't even bother asking, because the answer's going to be no.
That's the plug.
Apart from if, so if you want to see me, watch me with that. That's it.
Amy's going to be back on as well, Amy.
Am I?
Yes.
That's the first I've heard of that.
Well, we had a really... Do you know what? After our conversation the other day, I was thinking there are so many... I don't want it to be all about people involved, but there are some wicked people involved with that actually I'd love to have a conversation with that I think other people would find interesting as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, why not?
What are you doing then?
Wait. Before we let her drop that and everybody worries about that, can we not just say a little goodbye and tell you some good things about what we do?
You're not saying goodbye.
Can I not tell you what my favourite was and what I think and what I'm going to miss, and then you can just have it?
You can take over now.
Yeah, I think it's a really... I mean, 3 years on, right? 3 and a bit years on of AV Jam, the amount of recordings, and I was going through the YouTube channel and just putting them in date order and just looking at how, just really, even without playing any, just looking at how everyone's changed. Even the guests, some of them, just in a couple of years, how different people look. I mean, Kev, bloody hell, your hair, you look so different. And I'm sure there are some of the guests, especially some of our American friends, will see how different they look. And I don't want to say people look younger and fresh-faced, but you did. It's kind of... have we all aged in the pandemic? So on that journey... What's that journey been for you three? What stands out? What are the bits that really that stand out for you? Question to any one of you.
I'll go first, if you like. I enjoyed there's no particular one standout moment. What happened in the first at least couple of years was There was a levelling up and everything. If you look, the first 5 or so episodes, we were so in a comfort zone with the guests. It was safe people that knew us, people that would say yes when we asked, will you join our show that you know nothing about? So that was all carefully curated. And then we asked, will AMX and Crestron come in the same room and talk about AV over IP? I remember that day, Chris Netto reaching out and saying, nobody's done that before.
You know, that was episode 6. Yeah. We were only 6 in at that point. We were, what, 4 months in maybe, if that?
And then you get... You know, one of the goals was we want Chris and Mark together. And that felt like another levelling up when you get those two on. And I think the day we recorded that, we got almost 3 out of it.
Yeah, we did.
And then Kev caused a riot on LinkedIn, and we got Ilya Buchstein. And at the ISE show, recording a show there, which was talked about a lot. Then we took it out on the road and we went live. So everything felt like that we were increasing the danger levels, we were levelling up. And the quality of people that were joining us, I think if we would have asked them before we'd established it, they would have said, no, piss off, who are you? But, you know, via establishing it in a safe comfort zone, everyone loved it. Probably one of my favourite things, and I'll end there, is we just did it then. The talk before and after the recording was always brilliant. There's so many great memories of that. 5 minutes before recording starts, that 5 minutes after recording starts, Derek Kelly talking about Chicago Mafia, always with Gabe Maranta and his fun. There's so many great people that you could have a laugh with, knowing that we're not recording yet. We can say what the hell we want. and nobody gave a fuck. We ended up recording that with Chris Smith. I Punched a Monkey, didn't we? Which was supposed to replicate
the first time you've ever said fuck, by the way, on an AV Jam.
No, because Amy's outtakes... Like, on the first Christmas special, I think I said it the most times.
Is it Christmas special? That's a classic. Like, because when you did your first Christmas special, how old was AV Jam?
Genuinely, this is my most favourite part of all of it. And there's so many good things, but this is my favourite. Think of it, right? We had done 4 episodes.
Really?
You watch your favourite TV programme. They have to have years before they're established to get a Christmas special. And we had the audacity to say, 4 episodes, of course, we're having one. And we went straight in with it, no fucks given. We're having a Christmas special because we can. The best bit of that, though, seriously, because I actually rewatched that one last night. Go to the end and rewatch the outtakes and see how pitiful we were in some ways. And if it weren't for Amy, we say this in the Christmas special as well, if it weren't for Amy editing it and putting it together, we'd have been screwed. And that proves how screwed we was. But by far my favourite moment, and you'll see it in the outtakes if you do want to go back and watch, was from episode 3 and Jase trying to clap while holding a catch box. That will go down in history. That's by far the funniest moment ever.
It's proof that men can't multitask.
I like watched that so many times.
I think putting out a live link to anyone in the world to jump in on a recording, that was pretty good. That was up there.
I love that for Michelle. So we'd said, we'll let everybody in, we'll ask a question, you can have 10 minutes and go. I think Michelle was in before we were in. And she was ready, and she stayed for the whole duration, bless her, and she was amazing.
Because we didn't have the balls to kick Michelle out.
No, but she was brilliant. But that's it, like you said, there's so many good things. I think when we did the takeover at, when was it, Infocon? Was it Infocon 2019?
Yeah.
Was amazing. We had
you put a sticker on Bobby's arse or something, didn't you?
Stickers everywhere with that Infocon, I swear to God. I think I put one on the T rank. They can have one. Why not? I plastered the Aurora booth. Although that was Patty's idea, she told me to plaster her own booth. But who did the take? It was Alicia and Alexis, weren't it? And they were brilliant.
Yeah.
And that was a really good one because that was the first one we'd ever really done like that was intended for it. So yeah, I think there's loads of standout moments, but yeah, by far, just how ruthless we were having a Christmas special after 3 months. Just get in, we're doing it. Who cares?
What stood out for you, Amy?
One thing
Because you probably got a deeper look, didn't you, when you're editing? And I've found this with some of the recordings that will drop. You just end up, you almost know everything everyone says just by rote by the end of working on it that much.
Well, I think how it like affected me was the first time I went to ISC was in 2018. That was before AV Jam. And no one knew who I was. I was just the tag along, like no one wanted to speak to me. But then when I went again, I think it was 2020. It was just as like the pandemic was starting. Everyone knew who I was, who we were meeting, and people actually wanted to speak to me. And that was just like such like a contrast. And I don't, if it wasn't for AV Jam, I don't think it would have been like that. I think my IC like experience just would have been the same as it was in 2018. So yeah, that like was nice. Trying to think of some of my standout moments. I remember in episode 1. I'm sorry, Jason, but I remember it just made me laugh so much when we had Iram on and she just called you old or something like that, and it was just so like it was just so funny, and it just made me realize that like AV Jam wasn't going to be too serious, like we were going to have a laugh. So yeah, that was a bit of a standout moment. I loved the one where we played a FIFA at Wembley because it was just nice to go to Wembley. That was just fun. Yeah,
it was shit. It was shit.
No wonder you love it. It was so good.
But we were all awful. I think I was just the least awful.
Didn't we expect that playing FIFA and recording the screen, the scores would be like 5-2 or something ridiculous, right? And it was just... It was like Amy said, we were all so bad. It was like 1-0, 1-1. And it was just awful games.
I know.
But it was hilarious at the time. It was amazing to record it. Being in Wembley, though, and recording that, how the hell did we get away with that in a box in Wembley recording FIFA?
Brilliant.
I did ask some audacious questions.
Mental. It is mental. But like you said, with all the different people there's so many people that agreed to take part with this. We had people come back for more. We met so many people that we never thought we'd meet.
Matt Scott even took abuse for his flannel shirts, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Matt Scott.
Oh, bloody Matt, honestly. That one with Matt, I swear to God, the moment we started that call, we knew straight away that recording was just going to be a total mess. And we published it anyway. There's no airs and graces. We don't care. We're going to release it. We're going to publish it. And didn't we even call it the one where it all went wrong? Because we just knew it was going to be nothing but abuse for half an hour.
It lasts half an hour and we didn't talk about AV.
Yeah. It was literally just taking the piss out of everybody for half an hour. And we knew that was coming. But there's some brilliant people that's done it with us. And there was all of us when we started, and we'd have all said the same. It's just a massive thanks to the people that did it. But kind of taking it back a bit, for me, it now feels right for me to say thanks, but see ya. Because I don't want to recreate what we've done. The way that we've done it, I'm proud of it. I've got all this here that'll never disappear. And I'm thankful for it all, like Amy said, the amount of people that you can now go and speak to and that now know you, and there's a reason why. But I'm happy now to say. See you later.
Like, I think it's like all good TV programmes end at like the right time. They don't drag them out. I think if like we carried it on now, I don't think the episodes would be as good as they have been.
I like how you said we were good. I'm not sure we were good. No, just before then, the ones for me. Series. Yeah, the one things for me though that I do want to say are massive, because we haven't really mentioned them. Barco Cortrek, what a road trip that was. Northern Lights.
That was amazing fun.
The Northern Lights one that we did, I don't think got enough coverage. That Northern Lights, if you saw that in person, if you saw the videos and what Amy edited in, that is some amazing tech. Away from the silliness of AV Jam, there's a couple of them that definitely need a shout out for me. I said Northern Lights was just amazing, being there and seeing that.
And there is this feeling at the moment that there just isn't anything that is as impactful at the moment. Every conversation is about pandemic or going back to workplace or whatever, and I think that has been the sole reason, hasn't it, where this has slowed down and just kind of gone, there isn't anything. When you look at an episode like that and you think of the kind of stuff that was happening, and it just isn't now.
Yeah.
Do you think that will change?
It will eventually. It will eventually, and never say never. I think you've already said that, if that's right. Never say never that we won't be on a recording doing something again.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to say never. But I'm just we're not part of AV Jam anymore. No. I'm just going to focus a bit more effort on my Twitter. I might even do some Mark Coxon videos of my own or something. But it's less maintenance.
Are you going to wear a spandex suit for that?
We're off to dinner.
Mark Coxon style.
But yeah, it's been
we could do a spoof, Mark. He wouldn't mind. Bless him.
But over to you.
Well, I think the thing that, for me, the one standout, and I haven't watched every single episode, I've watched loads of them, but I think is that the common thread is the low tolerance of bullshit and the honesty and the freshness about it. I think that is the bit that has always drawn me to AV Jam, even before I joined Involve. So taking it on, that's the common thread, or the commonality for me, is that the conversations I want to have, I want them to be as honest as possible. And I know, and I've already recorded some, and there'll be people who do have to be mindful of how much they can share because the topic's different, and they do have to be a little bit more mindful of how things are put across. So I know it will be maybe less, it will be slightly edited, put it that way, but it will be as close to no bullshit as I can possibly get it without getting anyone into trouble. I don't mind getting into trouble.
You're screwed if you want me on. Then
but that's fine. That's me and you, Kev. But me and you don't mind about getting into trouble. I just don't want to land anyone else into trouble unless they want to. And I think that's at the heart of it. When you're having an honest conversation and you're actually able to speak openly without any fear of, I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose this, or whatever. You're just putting your opinion out, and even if whether that's an unboxing of a product and you're saying actually this is brilliant because of this, or it's shit, it's got to be honest, and it's not about paying lip service to the company that gave it to you or whatever. It's that honesty and freshness that I'm hoping I will keep alive for our Christmas special.
Yeah.
Which we're having it. We don't care. We're allowed one straight away. We've decided to allow one when you want one.
Exactly.
And I think that, as I said, that fresh, that honesty. When we started this, and it was definitely Jase's idea. I'm not wrong. It was definitely Jase, because Jase had the idea from Mark, Tim, and Chris. And we've always said it was Noel's shout out actually on the Christmas special. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have done this. But that was one of the things that we kind of agreed straight away. If we're going to do this, we're not going to conform to what it is. We're going to bring us to it, and the relationship that we had, and we were going to bring that in and try and put it in front of the camera. And that's how it ended. It was just no bullshit for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that was probably one of the strongest features of it. And it was consistent.
Having no sponsors helped. We didn't have to worry about not upsetting a sponsor, not upsetting. It wasn't even owned by Involve. We just happened to work at the same place. It was owned by us. That was it.
And that's why it comes through every episode, because you were honest from the start. If you're trying to pander to something, it gets to a point where you drop the ball. You know, you can't. It's not something you can sustain. And I've seen it when I've seen some other podcasts that are kind of trying to be kind of loyal to one particular external influence. If it's not intrinsic to that group or that conversation, it just doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work.
All the other podcast owners are now listening to that thinking, oh, that's not me, is it? For the record, no. You're all lovely.
There is one thing more, though, that I do want, because this weren't intentional, but it is still one of the funniest things that I look at, is Noel with hair. Noel hasn't had hair since birth. And Jase with a big cut across his belly. Weren't even intentional, but we got him.
It was never hair. It was just supposed to be.
Just looked like he had like a proper parting quip.
Yeah, it does. Bangs.
It weren't meant to be any of us, though, was it, Ames? Weren't it just three random stickmen that sort of ended up taking over?
I don't know. It wasn't me who originally did it, and I don't know if it was designed to be you three or not. But it would make sense because one of them has glasses, so that one would have just been you, Kev. So I think maybe they were meant to be you three.
I can't find it. It was meant to be us three, but a variation of the Pearl Jam stickman on the Alive cover.
No way.
That's what it is. It's an artistic copy of the Pearl Jam guy doing that.
And it's such a good name.
That's where it came from, AV Jam, Pearl Jam. So they just took that same stickman. It was originally three AV Amigos, which was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It really wouldn't have worked, would it? No. But I remember Jay sending me, we're doing it this, Pearl Jam. To which I responded with, who?
I know, you heathen.
I reckon Ames was probably with me. She probably went, who?
I've heard of them, but I couldn't name you a song.
Let's see.
So,
go on then.
So basically, you will be back. This is farewell. It's not goodbye. And I'll look after the baby.
Ending, but it is an ending.
I will look after the baby and make sure it's all it behaves in the same way.
The good thing with you taking it over is the content stays there, and I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like the fact that I can go back and watch it still, because there are some things every so often that I go back and because, and I know we said we were going to finish, but we're not, because I'm off again. There's some really good things for all the shit that we did, and we, like I said from the start, we always said the three of us, we're going to get or we're going to try and get cleverer people than us in. There are some things, dependent on the topic or dependent on what you're still doing at work today, there's some great little nuggets still in some of these that you'll always go back and say, I remember someone having that conversation.
Brock on audio.
Brock was brilliant. I mean, Brock's just brilliant anyway, isn't he?
Brock's got to come back on because Brock's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing. I think between Brock, Tim, Chris, you guys, that kind of faith and the conversations that I've had offline with all of you is why I'm here at all. So, and Brock, I mean, he talks about himself being an old white guy and what does he know? But actually he knows a hell of a lot. And he gets it. He gets the whole diversity, that the whole equity conversation, he gets it. But he's one of life's people who won't bullshit you. He'll tell you straight, which is brilliant.
Oh, look, if it weren't for AV Jam, there was a night in Amsterdam, Kev, where we had a curry and a few beers with Brock. And I think if it wasn't for AV Jam, that might not have happened. So we're thankful for AV Jam for, as Amy said, those moments beyond the recordings. There's so much that happened because of AV Jam that it's brilliant.
But I do want to say as well, for me, it was a massive thanks to you lot as well.
Yeah, actually, yeah, and Noel.
You two and Noel, absolutely. I think the four of us, we cut this up and we did it. There's got to be a massive thanks for you because there's no way I could have done it on my own. I didn't have a bloody clue. I just sit and talk shit.
I'm just really glad this has been recorded. Kev saying thanks.
I don't think I've said it yet in 3 years, but I'm saying it now. So yeah, a massive thanks to you for doing it with me.
Tim and Chris. They gave me the idea in the week of the AV Awards, and I'm so thick it took me 2 days to get it. Chris said it, and then I'm sat in the car 2 days later, and I went, "Oh yeah." So, it took me 2 or 3 days to actually get what he meant.
And I know we tried the shorts thing, and Mike Gopal had a go as well with giving us that international dynamic as well. But the shorts didn't. I don't think it works, does it? Do you think it works?
It was just a way to keep AV Jam going without effort, and that's why it didn't work. You were cheating yourselves at that point. You're not doing
I think I did one.
You did Christmas with me.
Oh, yeah, you got me in on the Christmas one because we deserve a Christmas one, of course.
Yeah.
Again, that compared to the other Christmas specials is bullshit. You shouldn't even stand it up against it, but it's all we could be bothered to do.
The shorts almost take more planning and more thinking than a whole episode. It actually, you end up tying yourself in knots because you've got to condense whatever it is, and you've got to be really clear about what you want to get across in that time. There's TikTok for that, right?
Yeah.
I think YouTube might drop the shorts thing, and that's why we haven't really pursued it. It's not working from a YouTube point of view, in my opinion, but we won't get there.
So, is there anyone that you gutted that we didn't have on it? Is there anyone that you said, "I think I'd have loved that person to have done one with us"? I think it's hard one. There's so many people.
Probably.
What's it from Avixa? But not for the reasons everyone else got him.
Dave?
Yeah. What I found was when I was at the PSNI keynotes, when Dave spoke, sometimes he spoke in a very genuine, heartfelt, cares about what he's doing way. And I'd loved him to have joined us on our terms, not the Avixa corporate terms. Because whenever he's a guest, it's like Avixa are pulling the strings of what's being said and what's not being said and stuff. I'd loved him with his genuine, I felt a genuine warmth to come in on our terms.
Maybe an out of hours with Dave. I reckon that's it. Dave, if you're watching this, I'm going to tag you anyway. How about an out of hours?
Compared to some of the other, those senior big hitters, you looked at some of them, no offence, Mike,
just a human being on a call.
There's some big people you were not interested in. They might get the views, but they wouldn't tick the boxes. But I always felt Dave Labuskis had he toes the corporate line a bit too much sometimes. But if we could have got him out of that,
he has huge warmth.
Fun.
He does have huge warmth.
Yeah.
My first ever AV Nation with Tim, Dave was on that, and he was brilliant. But as a human being and not as a representative of any organisation, I think.
There was one guest, Kev. Kev, the American Kev, what's his name? And he came on, but he lost his internet and went off.
No, it weren't. It was Jase.
Chase McLeod, yeah.
I'd have loved to have had Chase back. It was more of a personal thing for me. I get on with Chase so well. We talk still quite a lot away from AV Jam anyway, away from social media. And I'd love to have had Chase on. Chase is brilliant.
So him and like Kaleo was only ever on the live one. People like that can claim they were on it, but we never actually got around to focusing on them any more than we did.
I can't believe that Kaleo was only on the live.
Kaleo was only ever on the live one. And I love Kaleo. He really does social media for the right reasons.
Yeah, he does.
He really does. Should we leave it there?
I think so.
Kev said he's done, but he won't shut up now.
full well what's a
I'm going to try and I'm going to get Justin and Kev in a room together.
I remember recording your happy birthday with Justin. We couldn't control him.
No, there's no control whatsoever. I think everyone ended up shouting to shut up at one point.
He was a nightmare.
Happy days.
Indeed, and happy days to come. Good luck. Always, all of us were always willing to come and support you with your endeavours. So anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.